Hi, friends. Marcy Schoenborn here of ShowFit, and I'm so happy that you're here today. We are going to talk about 4,000-year-old spices that have amazing medicinal properties. They're comparable to NSAIDs, and there is a scientific reason they are comparable to NSAIDs, and I will unpack that. So, if you like this talk, share it with friends. Please subscribe and show up for other talks. And if you are watching this, it was actually done live in my school. And so if you would like to join my school while it's still free, there is a link below. Join us and enjoy other talks. I do a couple live talks weekly. Why do you want to be there live? Because I do a Q&A at the end and you can ask me anything. I do cut that out of these talks, but you could be there, you could ask me things, and you could get some extra information. So I hope you show up. You're showing up for yourself. You're not showing up for me. You're showing up for you. So show up at ShowFit, and here's the talk. How is everybody this morning? Got your coffee or your tea or your water, whatever your drinky poo of choice? I'm two-fisted here. Haven't had enough water yet today. Guzzle some down. All right, and I did prepare a little talk we'll go over, and then we'll make time for questions. So if you brought questions, we'll get to them. But I wanted to teach on 4,000-year-old remedies. And most of these things are probably in your spice cabinet. So the people that are in my main program have already gotten an extensive education on herbs and spices, but I don't even know that I've unpacked that some of these remedies are 4,000 years old and tried and true. They've been used medicinally for that's kind of a long time. So thought I was older than dirt, but clearly not. And so several herbs and spices have been studied for their anti-inflammatory and joint supporting properties, with some showing effects comparable to nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs. And so I've got the top candidates of those here today that we're going to talk about. And it's crazy because my brain used to go to the NSAIDs, to the whether it's Tylenol, all the ibuprofen, all the various things that we know cause liver damage. Now we're hearing about autism with them, all kinds of different things. We also know that they numb the brain. And the thing is, real spices and herbs don't do all the damage. And NSAIDs were created to mimic what spices and herbs do. So now, and for the past several years, if I start feeling a headache, what do? I go to my spice cabinet. I make a little shot of spice water, kind of like a Alka-Seltzer Plus shot. You put that little tablet in the water and and you get all those chemicals in your body. Yay, yay us. Instead, you can go to your spice cabinet and put small amounts of various spices, get them in your body, and within 20 minutes or less, they're doing the same thing or better and not creating a health concern. And turmeric is the king. I call turmeric the king and ginger the queen, and we'll get to ginger. And these are amazing spices that most people have in their cabinet. If they don't, get them. And you want to get organic spices because they've found a lot of metals in spices. Go figure. But the key component in turmeric is curcumin. And don't confuse curcumin with cumin, because the end of the word curcumin is spelled like the word cumin. They're very different spices, and they actually have different medicinal properties. But the key compound, curcumin, so the mechanism, it inhibits, we're going to get a little scientific here, easy for me to say. I don't run from big words and big definitions. I just trip over them sometimes. I understand them, but I trip over them. But it inhibits COX2 and 5-LOX enzymes. So what is that? It's the same thing that that NSAIDs target. Why do NSAIDs target that? Because scientists looked at what curcumin does and created NSAIDs to mimic it. Scientists don't just wake up and go, huh, I think I have the answer too. No, they look and see what our food, herbs, and spices do in our body. And then they make a medication they can profit from. People think it's a miracle drug when food's been there all along. So the benefits: reduces joint pain and stiffness, especially in osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. So imagine that's why we have clients at ShowFit coming off rheumatoid arthritis meds. And it's not only the curcumin, it's also the food that we eat along with it. So I always want to point out turmeric, while it's amazing, ginger root is amazing, other things we're going to mention are amazing, there's no secret one answer. You can't keep eating junk and think turmeric's going to do the job. So turmeric is going to do the job when you're also healing the gut and eating for wellness. So the benefits are amazing. Some studies show it's as effective as ibuprofen. There was a 2014 study in Clinical Interventions in Aging that did show that. And, you know, why don't we have more studies? We do. A lot of them are hidden from us. And also, it's not, so it's because it's not profitable for us to know those studies. And then also, there's not money funding those studies. There's no big curcumin like there's big pharma. There's no big turmeric to support a study for us to learn more. So that's actually a beautiful thing, because these spices do more than we're ever going to know. So it supports digestion and reduces nausea, used in traditional medicine for dyspepsia. So nausea, you know, and can be used for movement sickness as well. So best absorbed with black pepper, which is also known as piperine. So you don't have to buy turmeric with piperine, but you can. But if you already have turmeric in your cabinet, or you have the turmeric capsules, add some black pepper when you take it, and that is going to help you absorb it better, and it's going to help it work better in your body. Now we are to the queen, ginger root. So ginger. The key compounds are gingerols and shogols. And the mechanism, it inhibits COX and LOX pathways, so similar to turmeric. And it reduces pro-inflammatory cytokines. And ginger root has been proven to work really well in headaches. I'm a big fan of ginger root because I'm a migraine sufferer. And it definitely has taken the rare times I have migraines now, it brings them to a lower level, meaning I might have a few hours of, you know, a 2 of pain instead of a 10. And I don't lose the next day from exhaustion, because migraines are exhausting. And so I'm only really out of commission for a few hours using ginger root, when in the past a migraine could like devastate me for a couple of days. And so the benefits comparable to NSAIDs like diclofenac for pain reduction in some trials. Improves joint mobility in arthritis patients. Strong anti-nausea properties, used for motion sickness, pregnancy, and chemotherapy. And I don't know about any of the ladies here, I was never told to use this during pregnancy. Never told to use this for motion sickness. And it's a simple spice we have in our cabinet. And it aids in digestion. So most spices are going to aid our gut health because it's going to feed the gut bacteria. And we're led to believe that spicing things up causes the indigestion and causes, you know, the GERD and the pain. And that's actually not the case. It can heal the gut and help prevent it. So here we have Indian frankincense, also known as Boswellia. And so it had the key compound, boswellic acids. And I don't have this in my cabinet. So there are a couple things here I don't keep on hand, but I use turmeric and I use ginger root a lot in my meals often. And I often put it in morning spice water that I created for my own health needs. And so the mechanism inhibits 5-lipoxygenase, so which is 5-LOX, reducing leukotriene production. So what are the benefits? Reduces pain and swelling in osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis, improves joint function and flexibility within weeks. And you know what's going to help improve the joint function and flexibility besides better nutrition is movement. But when we hurt, we don't move, do we? I didn't. When I used to hurt, I didn't move. You know, that was my great excuse not to go to the gym. And honestly, it's not an excuse. I know that level of pain when your body doesn't want to do its job, when your body can't move, and so you don't go exercise. One, you think you're preventing more pain, and two, you're exhausted from pain, so you can't do it, you know. So it may protect the gut lining and reduce inflammation in IBD, irritable bowel disease. So another protector of the gut. Huh, who would have thunk that? And then devil's claw. I don't have that on hand either. And the key compound is harpagicide, which never heard of. But what does it do? It inhibits COX2 and TNF-A, reduces inflammatory signaling. So it reduces the signaling of the inflammation. And the benefits shown to reduce back and joint pain comparably to NSAIDs. Enhances mobility and function. White willow bark. Key compound, salicin, converted to salicylic acid in the body. And the mechanisms similar to aspirin. So aspirin, you'll see on the bottle, it might say salicylic acid. There is salicylic acid in many things. And so it inhibits prostaglandin synthesis, which means it's an effective pain reliever for arthritis, less gastric irritation than synthetic NSAIDs in some users. But it certainly is better for us than the NSAIDs. And so I also have like an anti-inflammatory tea blend here for you. So soothing and functional, and you would drink 1 to 2 cups a day. So what do? A DIY herbal tea recipe. And I'll post this, depending on where you see this video, I'll post it in the school, and I'll also post it under my YouTube. So 1 teaspoon dried turmeric root or a ½ teaspoon ground turmeric, 1 teaspoon dried ginger root or a ½ teaspoon ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon dried boswellia powder, optional, has a bitter taste, dash of black pepper, improves the curcumin absorption, a teaspoon of honey. And my clients know I am more prone to push date syrup than honey. And a squeeze of lemon boosts digestion and antioxidant action. And you probably could even add like a 1/4 teaspoon of either vanilla bean or a 1/4 teaspoon of cacao, get all the nutrients from those and make the flavor better. So if you want to put the boswellia in that has the bitter taste, and we know turmeric has a bitter taste on its own as well, and ginger is very pungent, add either cacao or vanilla bean. It's going to make it more flavorful, which means you're probably going to be more likely to use it more often. And so what do? You simmer herbs in 2 cups of water for 10 minutes. You strain, add lemon and honey, and you drink warm. And my clients know I drink the spices. I put them in a little glass like a shooter, and and drink it down. So different ways you can do it. And then an alternative, you can use tea bags of ginger and turmeric and then add boswellia powder separately if desired. And so that is just one way that you could integrate those. And I thought that was really good information that I wanted to get out to you guys today. I'm really glad you're here. And this is Coffee Chat. So if you have questions, let's ask away and I will do my best to answer. Thank you for listening. And again, if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Tell friends, have friends join the school while it's still free. Share this good information because there's more information to come. There's a ton of information in the school, tons of information in my program. My clients get hundreds, probably close to 1,000 hours of education now and teaching. I know that can seem overwhelming, but they use it as they want to, instead of going around YouTube and listening to influencers that maybe they don't know if they're even getting the truth. They know when they're listening to my talks, I've done the research, I've got the data to prove it. And I often even do research based on my clients sending me talks they find on YouTube, find from influencers that are getting half the information, turning the information into mistruths, untruths. I wouldn't even say they're doing it on purpose. I think they're hearing people with labels like doctor, and we think that they know everything. And the sad fact is, a lot of times they don't, or they're paid to say what they say. So please be careful. Follow me, subscribe if you like all this, tell your friends, and I will see you next time. Be blessed. Have a fabulous day. God's got you.